All right, fam. The Vegas Eagles back. We got this locked up. This is a little playoff preview. Now that we've essentially clinched the one seed, this is a wrap. I know we haven't technically clinched it yet, but this is over. We've got the one seed. It's happening. The road to the Super Bowl is going through the city of brotherly love. We're not going to lose at home in the playoffs. So, fam, you can count on this. The Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. All right, so let's get through the math and the technical stuff first, just to give you the lay of the land of where we stand. Now that we beat the Bears today, and that Jacksonville and Dougie P came through and beat the Cockroaches, we are now one Eagles win away in the last three games, or one Dallas loss and one Vikings loss from officially clinching the one seed. But the bottom line is it's over. We've got the one seed. So here's what is how the playoff bracket, as I see it, is starting to play out. So we're going to be the one seed. The two seed is going to be San Francisco or Minnesota. Now, right now, San Francisco is behind one game to Minnesota. But San Francisco has the tiebreaker over Minnesota. So taking a look at the Vikings' remaining schedule, you see there they have the Giants at home, then they're at Green Bay at the Bears. The Niners are home for Washington, at Las Vegas, and then home for Arizona. So I do think the Vikings are going to lose one game, whether it's for the Giants or at the Packers, at the Bears, those road division games. They could play spoiler. I think San Francisco is going to pull even with Minnesota, and they're going to get the two seed. So okay, then Minnesota slips to three, and the number four seed is whoever comes out of that garbage NFC West, NFC South, which I believe everybody else is at 5-9, and Tampa's at 6-8. I know Tampa has swept New Orleans, but the tiebreakers get weird if there's a bunch of people tied at the same spot. I'm gonna assume for now that it's Tampa, although I really don't think it even matters anyway in the end. But so let's just say Tampa is the four seed. Then the five seed will be Dallas. They're pretty much locked in. And then the six seed, because the Giants won tonight and beat Washington, they're almost certainly going to be the sixth seed, absent something crazy happening at the end of their season. But I think it's safe to say the Giants will be six. And then seven will be, I think, and it gets a little cloudy. I was looking at schedules, but I think it will be Washington or Detroit. I think the way that certain tiebreakers and schedules look, it seemed to be that I think it's going to be one of those two teams, Washington or Detroit. But again, I don't think it really matters for purposes of the playoffs because they're not going to win their first round game. So if that holds, you're going to have the seven seed, um, say Washington or Detroit, traveling at San Francisco. That's a wrap. San Francisco is going to win that game. The 3-6 matchup will be Giants at Vikings. I just don't see as poorly as Minnesota has played. I think that some people will be tempted to take the Giants in that game. No, I don't. I just think the Giants suck. I don't think there's anything impressive about them. I think Daniel Jones is a pedestrian quarterback at best. I think they don't win. So I think Minnesota holds serve as the three seed, and then that leaves Dallas at whoever wins the NFC South. Uh, Even though that'll be a road game for Dallas on the road against whoever takes that division, I just think Dallas goes in there and wins. So assuming that holds, then the seedings would hold, minus technically Dallas, the five seed would beat the four seed, but that would lead to Minnesota at San Francisco in round two, and I think that is a very bad situation for Minnesota. I think the 49ers just steamroll them in San Francisco. And so that leaves Dallas at Philadelphia in the divisional round, which I mean, again, I may have to take a leave of absence from work if we get the Cowboys in Philadelphia for the playoffs. But there's just no way the Cowboys are coming into Philadelphia and winning. Just no chance. It's going to be a gladiator Roman Coliseum type of situation. In fact, I can't even envision any any Philadelphia sporting event that would be as maniacal and as unsafe for the visiting team's fans as a Cowboys Eagles playoff game in Philadelphia. The last time it happened was in 1980 for the NFC Championship when the Cowboys came in and the Eagles just took over the game and won that handily in bitter cold, as I remember reading about it. Um, so I think then it ends up being San Francisco at Philadelphia for the NFC Championship. And again, I think the Niners offense is extremely impressive. But you're going to have Brock Purdy, presumably, even if Jimmy G is healthy, they're not going to switch back to Jimmy G if Purdy has taken them to the NFC Championship. So that's a wrap. Um, it's going to be 49ers at Eagles as far as I'm concerned. And I love the Eagles' chances in an NFC Championship game in 20-degree weather with 70,000 lunatics and Brock Purdy at the helm for the 49ers. They have a ton of weapons offensively. McCaffrey, Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, these guys that can play. I'm afraid of the offense, but again, the quarterback is the most important position, and I just don't see the 49ers coming into Philadelphia and winning. I would be very afraid if we had to go to San Francisco. But them coming to Philadelphia, nope. The Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. So it's just a question of who we're going to play when we get there. Whether it's Cincinnati, Buffalo, Kansas City, I can't really see any one other than one of those three coming out of it. You're going to have to see the seedings as far as who gets home field. I do think if Buffalo gets the 1 seed, it is going to be very difficult for a team to win in Buffalo in January. But we'll see how things shake out in the seedings. One team to keep an eye out for in the AFC. I haven't broken down the brackets and the seedings yet, but I will say watch out for the LA Chargers if they get in, which it looks like they did after that Patriots debacle at the end today in Vegas, which was thoroughly entertaining as an aside. But I think the Chargers are the one team that I don't think they could get all the way to the Super Bowl because they self-destruct too many times. But if it's one random upset, I think they could go into anywhere and win. I think they can go into Kansas City. I think they can go into Buffalo, Cincinnati. They can go anywhere and win. So I think to keep an eye out on the LA Chargers if they get in the playoffs, which it looks like they will. One other thing before I go, I have an idea. The Eagles are not going to do it, but I have an idea. This is playing genius level chess instead of checkers. So the Eagles need one more win to clinch that 1 seed. Again, we have at Dallas, home for the Saints, home for the Giants. What I think the Eagles should do is I think they should rest all their starters against Dallas. There's no sense in giving away, potential plays they might use against them in the playoffs. We're playing with house money. Let it go. Rest everybody after a pretty painful game that looked like today in bitter cold in Chicago. And Jalen Hurts took a shot on his right shoulder where that lineman fell all of his weight onto Hurts' shoulder. And I was really worried that something was wrong when he stayed down initially. So I think just to heal up a little bit, rest the starters against Dallas and have everybody fresh for that Saints game. That's the game we have to win because that game affects our draft pick in April because we have the Saints pick. We have got to make sure they are as bad as possible. We have got to give them another loss so that we can take an even better first round pick from them. So that's the game that we got to win. So if we rest our starters against Dallas, play everybody against the Saints, if we win that game, we clinch the 1 seed. Then rest everybody again against the Giants, take 2 weeks off, make sure everybody's at peak shape, and we go on our run. We bury Dallas and Philadelphia. We bury San Francisco and Philadelphia. Then we go to the Super Bowl and take the best crack we can against Cincinnati, Buffalo, or Kansas City. That's what I would do. I know that's not what Sirianni is going to do. He's going to play it straight against the Cowboys. And even if we win, I have a strong feeling he's going to play it straight against the Saints, with the idea being we want to make sure they lose for the higher draft pick and then rest everybody against the Giants until the playoffs begin. But this was just an idea that I had. I think it's the absolute right move to balance like injury risk with the game that we need and not giving away our game plan against the Cowboys, and also staying sharp by not having too much time off. So it's a balancing a lot of factors, but that's what I would do if I was the Eagles. But I don't anticipate them doing that. So as we get closer to the holidays, again, we can rest easy on Christmas Eve because we're playing with house money. We don't even need the game on Christmas Eve. If we get it, great. If not, who cares? Because we're going to win one of these three games and clinch the one seed. And hopefully, it's the Saints game. So keep rooting against the Saints. Otherwise, I don't care who comes into Philadelphia because we're going to beat them. So we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm out. Vegas Eagle. Let's fucking go.